6. Equipment-free exercises to build gorilla-like strength in just 3 weeks. A wild gorilla possesses muscle strength approximately 10 times greater than an adult human, capable of lifting up to 1,164 pounds without ever touching a dumbbell in its entire life. Meanwhile, men over 50 naturally lose 1% of muscle mass per year, resulting in frequent falls, injuries, and a drastic reduction in quality of life. But what if you could reverse this loss and develop extraordinary strength without expensive equipment or crowded gyms? The answer lies in the fundamental movement principles of gorillas. These impressive primates develop raw strength through functional movement patterns that use only body weight, simultaneously activating multiple muscle groups without destructive impact on the joints. The secret is in constant tension, isometric positions, and specific movements. Today, you'll see 6 exercises that build gorilla strength in just 3 weeks, all without any equipment, which can be performed in the comfort of your home. Before we begin, please tell us through the comments your name and the city where you're watching our content from. Exercise number 1, Gorilla Crawl. The gorilla crawl is the most basic and fundamental movement pattern that gives gorillas their impressive functional strength. Few know that this movement simultaneously activates more than 60% of the body's total musculature, transforming it into a true calorie-burning and muscle-building machine. This movement pattern intensely recruits the deltoids, trapezius, deep core muscles, quadriceps, and spine stabilizers. It is precisely this pattern that forms the basis of the extraordinary functional strength of gorillas in nature. They spend hours daily in this movement, strengthening the entire anterior and posterior muscle chain. Remember that this exercise not only builds raw strength, but also significantly improves motor coordination and joint stability, making it valuable for both athletes and people who simply seek to improve their daily functionality. To execute it correctly, you should start in a quadruped position, with hands firmly planted on the ground and fingers pointing slightly outward. The crucial difference is in the knees. They should be elevated approximately 2 inches from the ground, never touching the surface. This simple modification creates constant tension that completely transforms the exercise. The movement consists of advancing in a coordinated and crossed manner, right hand moving simultaneously with the left foot, followed by the left hand with the right foot. With each step, keep your back perfectly straight and the core strongly contracted. A common mistake I see many people make is raising the hips too high, transforming the exercise into something similar to the traditional bear crawl. Another frequent mistake is allowing the knees to touch the ground during the movement, eliminating much of the tension in the core muscles and quadriceps. If you're a beginner and are finding it difficult, an acceptable modification is to perform the exercise with the knees slightly supported on the ground in the first weeks, gradually progressing to the full version. Another option is to reduce the distance traveled, starting with just 16 feet, and increasing as your capacity improves. To maximize results, maintain a constant and controlled rhythm, breathing normally throughout the execution. Your proprioception, your body awareness in space, will improve drastically after a few sessions, allowing for more fluid and efficient movements. Exercise number 2, Isometric push-up hold. Isometric strength is one of the most neglected secrets in modern training, but it is a fundamental component of the impressive power of gorillas. As we've already explained, these animals frequently maintain static positions for long periods, building a deep muscle tension that results in exceptional strength. In this context, the isometric push-up hold is a simple exercise in appearance, but brutally effective in results. This sustained isometric tension builds raw strength in the chest muscles, shoulders, and triceps in a way that conventional repetitions simply cannot. You'll know you're doing it right when you feel a tremor in your muscles after 20 to 30 seconds. This is the sign that the muscle fibers are reaching their maximum recruitment threshold. A frequently ignored benefit of this exercise is the deep strengthening of the core. Maintaining the correct position requires a constant contraction of the abdominals and erector spinae, transforming what appears to be just a chest exercise into a movement that involves the entire torso. To perform it correctly, position yourself in a push-up posture with arms extended, then slowly lower until your elbows form a 90-degree angle. keeping your chest approximately 4 inches above the ground. The secret is in maintaining this position. Your body should form a perfectly straight line from your heels to your head, with the core intensely contracted. The elbows should remain close to the body, not pointing outward, which reduces pressure on the shoulders and maximizes triceps activation. The most common mistake I observe is holding the breath during isometric sustaining. It's crucial to continue breathing normally, with controlled inhalations and exhalations, even when tension increases. Holding your breath can cause elevated blood pressure and reduce the time you can maintain the position. For beginners, there are 2 main modifications. Perform the exercise with knees supported on the ground, significantly reducing the load, or simply hold the position for less time, starting with 15-20 seconds and gradually increasing. For those with more advanced strength, an additional challenge would be to raise 1 foot a few inches off the ground during the hold, which tremendously increases the need for core stabilization. You'll know you're progressing when you can increase the holding time by 5 seconds each week. Start with 30 seconds and work progressively until you reach 60 seconds of perfect isometric sustaining. Exercise number 3, deep squat hold. Gorillas spend hours daily in a deep squat position, something that most modern humans have lost the ability to perform comfortably. After all, as you can probably imagine, when we rest, we sit on sofas and chairs. This deep squat position not only builds extraordinary strength in the legs, but also maintains exceptional hip mobility into old age. The beauty of this exercise lies in its ability to simultaneously strengthen several muscle groups: quadriceps, gluteus maximus, erector spinae, core, and even ankle stabilizers. Additionally, it drastically improves hip and ankle mobility, joints that typically become rigid with sedentary aging. A surprising fact that many don't know: after age 50, the ability to rise from the floor without hand support is one of the most accurate indicators of longevity. Researchers discovered that individuals unable to perform this action have a significantly higher mortality risk in the next 6 years. The deep squat hold trains exactly this crucial functional ability. To execute the deep squat hold correctly, position your feet shoulder width apart or slightly wider, with toes pointing slightly outward. Lower into a full squat until your hips are below the knee line, significantly lower than a conventional squat. Your heels should remain firmly planted on the ground, and for balance, extend your arms forward. The most common mistake I observe is allowing the heels to leave the ground during the deep squat. This usually indicates a mobility limitation in the ankles. The solution is simple: place a small shim, such as a thin board or book, under the heels. Over time, mobility will improve, and you'll be able to perform the movement without support. For beginners who find this movement challenging, start by holding onto a stable chair or railing and lower only as far as comfortable, gradually progressing to deeper positions. To increase the challenge, try extending your arms above your head during the hold, which significantly raises the center of gravity. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will help you progress with health in the long term in the world of bodybuilding. Exercise number 4, dead hang. The dead hang is probably the most underestimated exercise in all modern physical training. Despite being absolutely fundamental to a gorilla's strength, these primates spend much of their lives hanging from branches, developing grip strength and shoulder stability that humans rarely experience. What makes this exercise particularly valuable is its multifaceted impact on the body. First, it naturally decompresses the spine, relieving pressure caused by gravity. Second, it tremendously strengthens the grip and forearms, muscles frequently neglected in conventional training. Third, it develops exceptional stability in the shoulders, preventing rotator cuff injuries. Finally, it corrects posture by strengthening the upper back muscles. To execute it correctly, find a fixed bar or any stable horizontal surface that supports your weight. Grip the bar with hands shoulder width apart, using a pronated grip, palms forward. Lift your feet off the ground and allow your body to hang completely, with arms fully extended. The critical point that many ignore: although the arms are extended, the shoulders should remain slightly activated, not completely relaxed or collapsed. This subtle activation protects the shoulder joint while still allowing the full benefits of the exercise. A common mistake is using a grip that's too wide or trying to hold with just the fingertips prematurely. Start with a complete and firm grip at shoulder width, progressing to more challenging variations only when you master the basic version. You'll know you're doing it right when you feel the stretch throughout the posterior chain, from the fingers to the shoulders, without acute joint pain. The sensation should be one of stretching and muscular work, not joint discomfort. For beginners who cannot sustain the position for long, that's not a problem. An effective modification is to perform shorter sets of 10 to 15 seconds, gradually accumulating the total time. For example, 6 sets of 10 seconds with short intervals, instead of trying 60 continuous seconds. As you progress, increase the hanging time by 5 seconds per week, working to achieve 60-90 seconds of continuous hanging. Remember to breathe normally throughout the exercise, avoiding holding your breath even when tension in the forearms increases. Exercise number 5, bear plank shoulder taps. The bear plank shoulder taps is an advanced stabilization exercise that simulates how gorillas develop their extraordinary body control during lateral movements on rough terrain. This exercise seems simple at first glance, but represents one of the greatest challenges for core stability when executed correctly. The benefits go beyond the obvious abdominal strengthening. This exercise develops exceptional stability in the shoulders and scapular girdle, drastically improves body control and proprioception, and strengthens the deep spine stabilizers that are rarely activated in conventional exercises. For the initial position, place yourself on all fours as in the gorilla crawl, with knees elevated approximately 2 inches from the ground. From this stable position, lift one hand and touch the opposite shoulder, returning it to the ground before repeating the movement with the other hand. What many people don't know is that the true challenge of this exercise is not in touching the shoulder, but in keeping the hip completely motionless, without any lateral rotation throughout the movement. Imagine there's a cup of water filled to the brim placed on your back. Your goal is not to spill a single drop. This anti-rotational control is exactly what makes this exercise a powerful tool for developing core stability at advanced levels. While most abdominal exercises focus on flexion or rotation, the bear plank shoulder taps teach your body to actively resist rotation, a critical skill for preventing spine injuries. The most critical error I consistently observe is allowing hip rotation during the movement, essentially nullifying the main purpose of the exercise. To correct this, start with slower and more controlled movements, prioritizing stability over speed. If necessary, reduce the movement amplitude until you master anti-rotational control. For beginners, an effective modification is to perform the exercise with knees supported on the ground, reducing the load on the core while still practicing the movement pattern. As strength improves, progress to the full version with elevated knees. For advanced athletes, an additional challenge would be to perform the movement more slowly, sustaining the arm in the air for 2 to 3 seconds before touching the shoulder, which significantly increases the time under tension and the stabilization challenge. You'll know you're mastering the exercise when you can perform 10 alternating taps, 5 for each side, without any perceptible movement in the hip or trunk beyond the movement of the arms. Exercise number 6, explosive jump squats. While the previous exercises focused predominantly on isometric strength and body control, the explosive jump squats incorporate the element of explosive power that allows gorillas to perform impressive vertical jumps of up to 10 feet, even weighing more than 440 pounds. This exercise activates what scientists call high-threshold motor units, powerful muscle fibers that usually remain dormant during low-intensity activities. These fibers have the greatest potential for growth and strength, but are only recruited during explosive or high-resistance movements. The beauty of jump squats lies in the unique combination of benefits: development of explosive strength and power, significant improvement in bone density, crucial for preventing osteoporosis, and highly efficient fat burning due to the metabolic nature of the exercise. A study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research demonstrated that plyometric exercises like this can increase lower limb power by up to 17% in just 6 weeks. To execute it correctly, start in a squat position with feet shoulder width apart, lowering until your thighs are parallel to the ground. From this position, generate force through the hips, and propel your body vertically in an explosive jump. The critical point is the landing. Always return to the ground with knees bent, absorbing the impact like a spring, and immediately link into the next movement. The most dangerous error I regularly observe is landing with legs completely locked, transferring extreme impact to the knees and spine. Always land in a semi-squat position, allowing muscles, not joints, to absorb impact forces. For people with a history of knee problems, an effective modification is to perform quick squats, rising onto the balls of your feet at the end of the movement without actually leaving the ground. This maintains the velocity component while eliminating landing impact. To maximize results, focus on jump height and the speed of transition between repetitions, not just the number of jumps performed. Quality of movement always outweighs quantity when it comes to explosive exercises. As you advance, you can add complexity by increasing the depth of the initial squat or incorporating a slight rotation in the air, further challenging your coordination and body control. For impressive results in just 3 weeks, follow this precise protocol. Perform each exercise for 40 seconds, rest 20 seconds, and complete 3 full rounds of all 6 movements. Rest 2 full minutes between each round for adequate recovery. Execute this protocol 4 times per week, allowing alternate days of rest for muscle recovery. Regular practitioners can increase their functional strength by 30 to 40% in the first 3 weeks, with even more significant improvements in muscular endurance and body control. The secret is absolute consistency and perfect technical execution. If you follow this protocol with dedication for 3 weeks, you'll see transformations not only in your raw strength, but also in your mobility, coordination, and muscular endurance. The training principles of gorillas, isometric sustaining, functional movements, and controlled explosiveness, represent a revolutionary approach to physical development that our ancestors instinctively understood but has been largely forgotten in the modern gym era. If you liked this, and also want to discover another method of bodyweight training used by Asian communities to maintain strength and mobility into old age, we've left a video appearing right now on the screen showing isometric exercises practiced by Japanese monks that transform the body even after age 60. Don't miss it. Thank you for watching this far, and God bless you, my friend.